Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to crack a case that I think anyone who's ever looked for a job will recognize. We're going to take a real-world resume with all its interesting twists and turns and see if it can actually land a very specific, very modern job. So here's the deal. We're doing a role fit analysis right here, right now. On one side, we've got a real resume. On the other, a real job description for a fully remote vet receptionist. And the big question is, does this person's story actually fit what the company is looking for? Let's dig in and find out.
All right, first things first, let's set the stage. The world of animal care is changing, and it's changing fast. Technology is creating all these brand new kinds of jobs that honestly just didn't exist a few years ago. So this job, it's a remote veterinary receptionist for a company called Petfolk. Now, I want you to think less about a traditional clinic desk and more about a high-tech digital hub. This person is the first point of contact, the digital front door for every single pet parent. It's a hugely important, customer-focused role that is absolutely central to their entire operation. Okay, so let's try to get inside the hiring manager's head here. If we want to figure out if our candidate is a match, we first have to really break down what Petfolk is looking for. What are the absolute deal breakers? What do they really want? And when you really boil it all down, the job posting is basically asking for three main things. They need someone who can handle the day-to-day work, has a few non-negotiable skills, and this one is really important, someone who fits into their specific company culture. So first up, the daily duties. This role is basically a communication command center. You're juggling phone calls, texts, and emails. You're scheduling appointments. You're pretty much the bridge between anxious pet owners and the medical staff. It takes a ton of organization and, you guessed it, a whole lot of empathy. Okay, next are the non-negotiables. These are the hard requirements, the things you just have to have. Full-time availability for a demanding schedule, a dedicated office at home, and, of course, strong communication skills. But here it is. Here's the key filter. They require 1 full year of direct veterinary customer service experience. That one's a big deal. And finally, we've got the culture fit. Petfolk is super clear about this. They're a fast-paced startup, so they aren't just looking for skills on a page. They're looking for a specific mindset. They need someone who really thrives in that dynamic, high-growth world where things are always changing. It's less about what you can do and way more about how you do it. All right, so we have a really clear picture of what Petfolk wants. Now, for the other side of the equation, let's meet our candidate and see what kind of story their resume tells us. Whoa, okay, right out of the gate, this is interesting. The professional summary calls them a social media specialist. That immediately raises a question, doesn't it? Petfolk wants a receptionist, not a marketer. For a busy hiring manager just scanning through resumes, is this an instant red flag? And yeah, if you look at their career path, it's fascinating. It starts with several years in hands-on vet clinic roles, but then there's this major pivot into e-commerce, digital marketing, and now even AI. I mean, on the surface, their most recent work seems like it's a million miles away from a receptionist job. So this is the real question, isn't it? How does this non-linear, kind of winding career path line up with what Petfolk really needs? Let's start connecting the dots and see if there's a match hiding here in plain sight. And here it is, the first and maybe the most important connection. Remember that 1-year experience requirement, the big one? Well, despite that recent pivot into tech, if you actually add up their time from their previous vet clinic jobs, they have over 19 months of direct, hands-on experience. They don't just meet the requirement, they exceed it. That is a huge checkmark. Now, what about those communication skills? Well, you could argue that 4+ years as a social media strategist and writer is basically like getting an advanced degree in professional communication. They have spent years crafting messages, engaging with audiences, and adapting their tone. That's not just a skill, it's a highly developed strength. And what about that startup mindset? Running your own e-commerce store, juggling a bunch of freelance clients, working as an AI engineer? That experience just screams self-starter, adaptability, and tech savviness. That is precisely the attitude a startup like Petfolk values. In fact, you could say this combination of vet knowledge and tech experience makes them a uniquely powerful candidate, not just a qualified one. So, what's the big lesson here for you? This analysis isn't just about this one job or this one person. It really uncovers a powerful strategy that pretty much anyone can use in their own job search. Here's the key takeaway. You are never, ever just your last job title.
Your power is in building a narrative. Don't make a recruiter guess how your experience is relevant. You have to be the one who connects the dots for them. It is all about showing how your unique background isn't some random collection of jobs, but it's the exact combination of skills that solves their problems. Your past isn't something to downplay. It is the very foundation that makes you the perfect candidate for their future. So the next time you look at a job that feels like maybe it's a bit of a stretch, just pause. Don't just list what you've done. Ask yourself, what is the story my experience tells? And how can I frame that story to prove that I am exactly who they've been looking for all along?